Well, how you doing today? It's good to be here with you again, and we are moving right on through the Gospels. Today we're going to look at a couple of accounts in John chapter 10 and then also in Luke chapter 13, 14. First, in John chapter 10, we have this marvelous parable of the Good Shepherd. And it is a parable rather than just a story, as Jesus tells it. It's called a general parable, otherwise known in Greek as a mashal. And that literally means a mysterious saying full of compressed thought. I thought that's a pretty interesting way to put it. But once again, it emphasizes the fact that without faith, without the Spirit's presence in our hearts and minds, we're not able to understand the teachings. And here again, the people just did not understand, and Jesus tries to make it clear for them that all you've had thus far are thieves and robbers trying to sneak in and steal you away from God. Whether it be the religious leaders, political leaders, kings of the day, all kind of come in the back way. They don't come in through the front gate. And Jesus says, I am here. As the good shepherd, I come in the front gate, and my sheep know me and they follow me, and I take care of them. You know, the reality is, just like in Jesus' day, we have those teachings around us, those false teachers, false religions, false beliefs, that constantly are climbing over the fence and trying to steal the hearts and minds of people, whether it be false religions, whether it's Eastern mysticism or secular humanism or Islam or anything else that you can name. The Bible is very clear. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And Jesus then says, I am, and we get that wonderful Yahweh again, as he refers to himself as the Good Shepherd. That shepherd is a very special place in the Hebrew culture, and it implies someone who rules and who protects and who cares for and who is a companion to and who is a leader of, and Jesus is all of those for the people, and he lets them know that I come. I will establish my kingdom, and ultimately I am going to literally lay down my life to defeat that ultimate thief, Satan, and death itself. And that's why he has come. People didn't want to hear that. This was kind of his last shot to win them over. Some have heard, many did not. And ultimately Jesus ends up by the Jordan River where John baptized, and probably has some fond memories of those experiences and the people who have come to faith. And unfortunately also the lament over people who have not. And then we move on to Luke chapter 13, and Jesus continues to pound on his central teaching that he has come to establish his kingdom, and his kingdom looks radically different than what the world has set up. And he makes this analogy that the door to his kingdom is narrow, and that the first shall be last and the last shall be first. It is a narrow door, and my, aren't we going to be surprised one day when we get to heaven and see who is there and who isn't there? And I think that ought to be a little bit of a wake-up call for us. And it's not going to be all the people that we think should be on the guest list. It may be some very surprising faces who appear there one day in heaven. The key is we need to put God first. Jesus says, you need to let me seek my kingdom first above anything else. You can't make up excuses, which is what happens in Luke 14. The people hear this teaching, and the next thing they do is, as Jesus is telling this account and trying to relate to them, it's like a banquet. And invitations go out, and people come up with all sorts of excuses. Jesus offers us forgiveness, life, and salvation, and yet people come up with excuses. Whether, as in our reading today, Jesus says, they say, well, I just bought a field, or I just bought some oxen, or I've got a wife now and I can't come. Or whether in our culture today it's just I need to earn a little more money, or I can't give up my golf game, or I need to be seen with the best people. It goes on and on and on. People make up excuses, and Jesus says, watch out. The banquet's going to come and you're going to miss it, and no excuse is going to get you off the hook. And I think Jesus is laying it out very clearly, and he's hammered it home over and over and over. And as we can see that without the light of faith, without the Holy Spirit illuminating the message in one's heart and mind, there's not going to be any way to understand it. And so when people's hearts are hardened and when they're self-centered, they are not open to being led by Jesus, to letting Jesus be in the driver's seat of your life and you taking a passenger seat. I loved an analogy I just heard recently about a tandem bicycle, and how we get on the bike and we're sitting there in the front seat and we got the steering wheel and we're pedaling hard and moving, and all of a sudden we get tapped on the shoulder and Jesus says, let's switch seats. Now he's in front. Now we're pedaling hard, but we're not in charge. We're led by Jesus. Are we willing to do that? Are we praying that he would open our hearts so that we might receive the gift he offers, the invitation he offers, and put him first and hear his call as the Good Shepherd in our lives? He's making it clear, but that doesn't mean everyone's going to respond. And so he laments that fact, and every day what we need to do is not only celebrate the faith he's placed in our lives, but be ready to go out there and continue to share that good news and draw others into that relationship with him, to let him be first in their lives, and not be swayed by false teachers of any kind, nor politicians in our current American culture, nor by celebrities that we might know in our culture today. Rather, we must follow Christ, and he must be the one we respond to when we hear the call. I pray that will be true for me in my life today and every day, and I also pray that for you as well. And I look forward to speaking with you again, and we continue to pray for Heather's friend Lindy and her husband and child as they go through a difficult time. And we'll look forward to talking with you again. Thanks.